Here we are, playing the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here knowing it, but we the ones who late. Our family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick the code, stop for three. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same poverty at your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now be on the CNN. DBTV, we talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Break it down here on Dr. Voice TV.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I want to say, what's going on? Welcome to Dr. Boyce TV, the home for intelligent Black people. And if you're not Black and intelligent, you may want to get the fuck out because this is not the place for you. Anyway, I wanted to tell you guys something that I saw. A lot of you asked me to comment on this, so I thought I would make a quick, brief statement on it and kind of break it down for you in terms of what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing and what my perceptions are about this whole situation. Did anybody see the emerging film called The Banker? There's a film called The Banker that a lot of people are starting to get excited about. It involves Samuel L. Jackson and Anthony Mackie. And the premiere for the film was this week. It was going to be one of the first major releases by Apple, I guess Apple TV. And everybody was excited because it was actually a film about 2 Black men who actually bought a bank by pretending to be white, which is kind of an interesting plot. And a lot of people just thought it was cool. You know, they got access to capital. They were talking about the things the community needed in terms of capital support and preservation, you know, for the Black community. Just a lot of real feel-good themes in this film. And it all kind of came like crashing down. Basically, the whole project, or at least the premiere of the project, from what I've heard, is dead and buried and gone. There is no film that I know of coming out. Now I'm hoping that I can still see it in the theaters. I did look to see, whether or not I could see it in my local area, and actually I think I can see it in Chicago, at least according to what's on the internet. But I don't know if it's just been nixed entirely or if they just shot down the premiere. But anyway, give me a yes or no in the chat if you knew about this film, if you knew about The Banker. I thought it was like a really great concept. And I watched the trailer. The trailer got me super excited. And it just looked like it was going to be one of those films that really, was going to really give Apple TV the nice boost that it needed in the film industry. And it was actually smart of them to make their first release of a film that Black people will go see. Because sadly enough, Black people love movies. Like, we actually consume more entertainment than everybody else. I don't see if we, I guess we aren't as interested in like sitting and actually reading books and learning. I don't know. I don't know what that says about us as a community. Like, I mean, because I'm gonna tell you, when you really hustling and grinding and you're trying to build something in your life, you can't do that and sit around and watch TV all day. So I'm not saying that that's what Black people do or that that all of us waste our time, but there's clearly something wrong when we lead the world in TV consumption. That just ain't cool. But, hey, that's what they did. That's what they put together. And it looks like it's a winning strategy. In fact, that's how the Oprah Winfrey Network kind of got going, because at first Oprah was failing. Oprah was not able to get viewers onto her channel. And then she, give me a second here. Yeah. So when Oprah couldn't get the Oprah Winfrey Network off the ground, that was what she did. She actually leaned toward Tyler Perry, got some Tyler Perry shows on the air, and next thing you know, the network was taking off. So there are a lot of networks that actually use Black consumers in the beginning to get that initial viewership, and then they start to shift away as time goes on. So anyway, the allegations or the whole situation apparently seems to be linked to this long-held, very old accusation against one of the men who was involved in the alleged sexual assault of two of his half sisters. Now, clearly, this is very serious if it's true. Um, I would almost say that it's very sad, but I mean, I think at the same time you have to sort of talk about things like evidence and proof, details. How long ago was it? What were the natures of the accusations? What actually happened? And then also you got to talk about, if he was he 12 years old, 13 years old, or was he a grown man when this happened? I'm not gonna say that makes a big difference entirely, but I think the question becomes how far out do you go with this, and how broad do you make this, right? Do we take every single person who's ever done anything wrong to anybody in their life and basically say, you can't even make a movie about them, right? Really, like, because I mean, I'm sure even the thing is, women don't rape people, right? But women do other bad things to people. So if a woman, stole from people, like, Cardi B used to drug men, she admitted to this, right? She drugged them and she would rob them. She would never rape them because women don't typically rape men. They don't have an interest in doing that. They don't have to do that, right? And well, not that anybody would ever have to rape anybody, but they, they don't. That's not what they do. When women want to be hurtful to other people, which women can't hurt other people, they don't tend to rape. So what crime? What is it that a woman could do? I'd be curious to ask this question. This is a question I just openly would ask. At the risk of offending people, because I think my goal is to encourage you to think. What crime? Name something in the chat, Kenyatta, Norvell, Taylor, anybody. What can a woman do, in her life at any point that would be so egregious, so heinous, so terrible that if they made a movie about her 50 years later, they would take that movie out of circulation? They would tell me yes or no, yes or no. Give me a yes or no. Can you think of anything that a woman could do that is egregious enough that if she's, a Cardi B, they would take away her whole career? If she is, an actress or actor, that she can't be in another movie. If they're making a movie about her and she's already dead and gone, that they won't even make a movie about her because they found out she's a bad person. Like, for example, right, I see Mike B says nothing maybe kill a kid, says Carl for president. Right. And how often does a woman get accused of something like that, right? Now, the thing is, I'm not really trying to sit here and say that any of this is okay. I mean, nobody would ever say that any sort of assault is okay, right? Nobody would ever say assault is okay. But, I think that there's kind of this interesting challenge that men have, where, if you think about this process for a minute. There's been at least two major Black movies that have celebrated strong Black men in history: the Nat Turner movie and this movie. These are there aren't many others out there. And in both cases, both of those movies were taken down over an allegation of the men being accused of doing something to harm a woman in a sexual way. Um, I don't know how that works. I'm not going to say that it makes the actual alleged crime okay if it did happen, right? Because there's a lot of ifs there. But I would almost say, though, that if you went to every single person who ever, now think about this, give me a yes or no, yes or no. Do you think that, a lot of people will go down if every single time you did any movie about any historical character, and scrutinize every single person who's ever been in a movie, every single person that a movie's been made of? Do you think that there would be a lot of white women and white men going down too? Like, do you think that a lot of, white women, if they were held accountable for every single bad thing that they did to another person, illegal or legal, right? Or every time they stole from somebody, every time they beat somebody up, punched somebody in the head, just whatever, right? So my point is not to say that this stuff is okay. This would never, no one could ever condemn, or sorry, scratch that. No one could ever forget or act like, assault at any level is a good thing. But I think that it's interesting where they've sort of said they put sex in this special category, right? If you commit regular assault, like you punch somebody in the face, or, and I've seen women hit guys, get mad at their boyfriend, smack them, stuff like that. That assault is not a big deal, right? Like a person is going to have their whole career destroyed for a physical assault, like a smack or whatever. But if it's a sexual nature, which men are very sexually driven creatures, right? Men, we know men's penises get them into a lot of trouble, into a lot of complex situations, right? But if it's sexual, it's almost like it gets put in this place where, there's no coming back from that. Like, I'm talking about accusations. I'm not even talking about proven events, because I don't even want to go in that territory trying to defend, somebody who might have raped somebody or whatever. But because even though that would be an interesting discussion, but I'm not going to have it now. What I am going to say, though, is the idea that this man, everything that this man did that was good is nullified by the fact that he was accused of doing something bad. You know, like Halle Berry, on many occasions has assaulted, you know, other people. She's assaulted her husband. She's been accused of that. You know, you have other crazy accusations out there. And you have white women that have been accused of all different kinds of egregious behavior, but you don't really see white women kind of being just condemned for life for something that they were accused of doing a long time ago. In fact, I would imagine, I mean, imagine if every single person that was ever in a movie, you took every, you know, the top 10 people who hate them the most and let them all lay out all the accusations that they have, all the allegations that, oh, she used to be a slut. She slept with her husband, or she slept with her best friend's husband. You know, she stole money from so-and-so. She psychologically abused her ex-husband by being mean to him a lot, right? You know, I just don't know. I mean, I almost feel that there's a point where in art, I can actually understand those people who kind of say, look, if you want to appreciate somebody's art, just appreciate their art. Don't worry about what kind of person they were. Don't get caught up in what your personal judgment is of their personal life. If you appreciate something they accomplished, then we can leave it there. Like, so for example, if I'm an admirer of Michelle Obama, I can admire Michelle Obama without scrutinizing every single thing Michelle Obama has ever done that's questionable. I live in Chicago. I've heard stories about, you know, people say, oh, well, she did this mean thing to me, or she's a bitch, or she did blah, 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 right? You know, you hear these sorts of things, but that does not take away from the good things she did. So anyway, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. And if you're on Facebook, please share this to your page. Here's what it says. Apple has not publicly disclosed why it canceled the planned premiere of the film, The Banker, but it did so less than a week after producer Bernard Garrett, who is also the son of the film's subject. So the producer was publicly accused of sexual assault by one of his half sisters. Okay, so the son, so this is interesting. So the producer of the film, one of the producers, who happens to be the son of the film's subject, was publicly accused of sexual assault by one of his half sisters. So it's not even that, so I got it wrong. So it's not even that a person that's actually in the movie was accused of sexual assault. It's not Samuel L. Jackson being accused. It's not Anthony Mackie being accused. It's not either one of the two men who are in the film being accused. It is actually the son of one of the men in the film who's being accused. You can take that shit off the ballot and go ahead and put that movie out. I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry. The son. So this man is now his legacy is being tarnished because, now don't get me wrong. I mean, if your son does some terrible shit, then, you know, then yeah, I mean, you know, that does affect your legacy. Like Kellen Winslow Jr. did affect the legacy of Kellen Winslow Sr., but it ain't Kellen Winslow Sr.'s fault, right? You know, like I don't understand this idea of taking this movie down because the son of one of the subjects was accused of doing something. That's kind of crazy. You could take him off the movie then. Just say, hey, look, we don't want to do business with him, but we're going to keep this movie out because this is a movie that's going to mean a lot to a lot of people. Now, I don't know. So how about this? Give me a yes or no in the chat. Yes or no. Do you think that they should put the movie out anyway, or you think they should shelve it? Yes or no with this accusation? Give me a yes or no. April, Ease, you guys on Facebook, I don't know why I cannot see your guys' comments, but make the comments anyway, because I'm gonna open up another thread so I can see what you guys are saying over there. I don't know why I can't see it through my phone. And hit the thumbs up button, by the way, guys. If you haven't done this, hit the thumbs up button. Okay, I want to see what the poll is. How many of you think they should release the movie? Okay, I'm seeing yeses. Put it out. Wait, his son was accused. Yeah, it was his son. I thought it was actually something that mattered. I mean, meaning relevant, like relevant to the actual film. I don't really think the son of the subject being accused of something is, you know, should be enough to keep this movie dead, to kill this movie. And this really sounds a lot like what they did with The Birth of a Nation. You know, you just accuse a black man of something. The next thing you know, you can just destroy everything he's got going on. He has no right to make a living. He's blackballed from everything. And I'm not a fan of that. I just think that that's kind of overkill. You know, if you can prove something, then we can talk. But if you have no proof of things, then I think that's an issue. Now, the problem is that there were two accusations. So he has two sisters that accused him of this. I think that does mean more than just if one person said it. But I'd like to know more details. Like, when did it happen? You know, were y'all a bunch of 9-year-olds experimenting with each other's bodies, or were you grown-ups? Like, was he a grown-up and you were kids? Like I'd like to know more about that. I think that does matter. The Banker was originally scheduled to premiere as the closing film of the 2019 AFI Festival in Los Angeles, but the screening was abruptly canceled Wednesday afternoon. Apple did not disclose the reason for doing so, saying in a statement only that last week some concerns surrounding the film were brought to our attention. We, along with the filmmakers, need some time to look into these matters and determine the best next steps. In light of this, we are no longer premiering The Banker at AFI Fest. But the move came just 5 days after Garrett Jr.'s half-sister, Cynthia Garrett, tweeted that, quote, "The film lies to hide the producer who sexually molested my sister and I for years, then stole my mom's life story with our dad." Okay, I guess stole the story. So the dad, so she sounds mad at the dad, and he might have molested. I mean, if he did, that should be heard, right? But I think you have to have due process. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Cynthia and her sister Sheila told Apple approximately a week ago that Garrett Jr. molested them over a period of several years in the early 70s when they were little girls. Okay, so the early 70s. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. Let me do some research. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. I want to look up this brother. And he may not be a brother. If he's doing something like this, then I can't, I don't want no parts of somebody like that. But I do want to look up Bernard Garrett, and I want to see how old Bernard is, to see how old he was in the 70s. I am really curious about that part. So let me see. All right, let me see here. See if he's got a Wikipedia page or something. Let's see here. Let me see if I can see how old he is. I can't find it. Here we go. I see Bernard Garrett. I'm pulling him up on IMDb. I don't see much here. It looks like if this is the same Bernard Garrett, it looks like he's in the movie industry in general. I see him connected to The Mandalorian, which is a popular film that just came out on Disney Plus, but I don't know if that's actually him. Yeah, I don't see anything here. I'll do some more research on it to try to see if I can find out more. But actually, my point is to say, I do agree with you, April. I think due process does matter. I hope I can see this movie because, I'm sorry that this stuff might have happened a long time ago. Remember, the early 70s, is that 50 years ago, 45 years ago? That's a long time ago. It doesn't mean it doesn't matter, but the early 70s is a long time ago, 45 years ago. And I'm just trying to figure out, if there should be any point where, where you just say we can't go back that far. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, because I'm not the victim. I'm not the person who's gone through this. So, I'm not one to even begin to try to say that it's something that should be forgotten. But is there another way to approach it without thinking that you have sort of this blank check to ruin somebody's life forever? What is it? I mean, again, once again, I ask you guys, what is it that a woman could do that women comment that that thousands of women have done? Can you name anything that thousands of women have done that society has deemed to deserve a life sentence, a life punishment, where you can't make money for the rest of your life, you can't do anything good for the rest of your life, you have, and again, and somebody, you're asking a good question too, Norvell. Why come forward now with the allegations? I think also being a successful Black man can draw some of this, right, too, because a lot of the people that bring things up, they bring them up when you get big and famous and rich. They don't bring them up when you're broke and nobody knows you, or when they could have went to the public or to the cops. Maybe now they go and they make the accusation because that's a good way to get attention to the cause. Maybe nobody listened before, and now everybody's listening, because if you accuse a Black man of something, then everyone's going to pay attention. But I think at the very least, I'd like to know the details. I'd like to know how old he was. If he was 10 years old and they were 7, I'm not going to say that that's okay. I'm just going to say that they were all kids. Now, if he was 21 and they were 7, then that's a whole nother discussion. That's something that's clearly a different kind of inappropriate interaction. But either way, the early 70s was 45 years ago, man. You know, so I just think it's kind of, we got to get past this nonsense. I mean, I think in fact, just people tossing out allegations and destroying entire projects, ruining people's lives with no proof. That day has to go away. Like that's just not cool because eventually it's going to circle back around to women. Eventually the men are going to get pissed off, and number one, people are going to stop listening when people bring things like this up, and number two, they're going to find something. They're going to start holding women accountable for their behavior, for things they might do. It won't be sexual because women don't get in trouble for sex, but women do other things to hurt people, right? I mean, yes or no? Have you ever seen a woman hurt a person? Is a woman capable of hurting another human being? Have you ever seen a woman hurt a man, abuse him psychologically, steal something from him, attack him physically, right? Like it's going to get like the ridiculousness gets added on top of ridiculousness. So the ridiculousness of I can just toss out an allegation and people are going to believe it like it's fact is literally something that's going to lead to more ridiculousness. Then eventually you're going to have men that are going to start saying, well, my ex-wife, one time she got mad at me because she saw me looking at a girl and she smacked me. That technically is the same as rape. That's just like raping me because she smacked my face and I was, I needed therapy for 5 years because the pain was so terrible. And I'm not saying that just because she's the biggest director in Hollywood and I want to destroy her life and get all her money. I'm saying it because I really was traumatized because she smacked me. No, you weren't. You're just basically doing an eye for an eye. So I think we've lost common sense. That's my point. I think we lost common sense. I think due process is called for. It. Thank you for your donation. It says they're selling tickets. She'll get paid with our money. Well, I think it's okay. I mean, if something did happen and they have any sort of proof or something or whatever, then they probably don't have proof. But even still, if there's two of them, I think they should be heard. I just think that, we got to get past the ridiculousness. I mean, seriously. I told my friends that 20 years men are going to march on Washington all wearing skirts. Man, they already marched on Morehouse College. Did you ever see that article called The Mean Girls of Morehouse, where they literally found, a bunch of students at Morehouse that wear dresses to class and totally jacked up the image of Morehouse? I mean, it made a lot of dudes not even want to go to Morehouse anymore. They don't see it as a masculine institution anymore. And Morehouse used to be like the place for black men. Now the place for black men is not Morehouse, it's somewhere else. You got to go somewhere else if you want traditional masculinity. It doesn't mean that it's not okay to be gay, but you can't have everybody being gay. You can't have half your community be gay. Seriously, you can't survive that way. You're going to get your ass kicked if you fall into this nonsense and white people are feeding you. What they're basically doing when they're destroying your masculine alpha males is basically they're disarming you. That's what white America has always done throughout the world. They disarm their opponents. They want to see disarmament of all those who could be threats to them. And they want to be the only threats. Like they want to be the only one in the room with a working heterosexual penis. They want everybody else to either be feminized, gay, or childlike, because children are not a threat, feminine men are not a threat, gay men are not a threat to them. So that's what it is. That's the agenda. You're right, April. There is an agenda, and I think it's very important to kind of talk about that. So anyway, I hope the movie comes out. I know that they canceled the premiere. I'm gonna go try to see it with Alicia this weekend. So if I get a chance to go see it, I'll tell you guys what I thought about it. I like the actors. I already know it's gonna be good because Mackie and Samuel Jackson, second to none. Excellent actors. So anyway, I gotta go, guys. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. And also don't forget, take a visit over to the Black Business School, theblackbusinessschool.com, and learn more about what we got going on over there. We can really help you in the areas of real estate investing, stock market investing, stuff like that. And also, I'll be doing some events coming up, some digital events and also some live events. So if you want to see me either online, come to an online lecture. We're doing online lectures on how to make money as a government contractor. We're going to go to some other cities this year. You can go to drboyceseminars.com. That's drboyceseminars.com. All right, guys, take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night. Peace.